All right, cool. So welcome everybody to the community dev call that happens every 2 weeks right here on Zoom. I am Dan, your faithful community manager. And yeah, so as I was mentioning, Gregory's just going to be a few minutes late, so he wanted me to go ahead and just get started. So this is September 29th, 2021. And yeah, so kind of a repeat of last week. There's still some really great forum discussions happening at forum.regen.network. So please go ahead and check those out. The signaling proposal one is by far one of the longest threads we've had so far. There's like some really great questions, some really great answers and discussion going on there. It's been really helpful for the developers and everybody involved with getting that signaling proposal going. Of course, all of the input is taken into account, so we really appreciate that. There's the Cosmos ecosystem allocation thread still going, and of course the community grants. So go ahead and check that out. I will once Gregory gets back, I'll try to post those links in the chat here so you guys have access to them. But of course, you can just go to forum.regen.network and find them there. Yeah, so as I mentioned, the signaling proposal. So proposal number 4, our signaling proposal for Ledger v 2.0 upgrade, is now live. It went live, I think, yesterday or the day before. And when I checked this morning, we were at about 31% voting. So we are getting close to reaching quorum. I thank everybody for voting on that. And if you have not done so yet, there's the link. You can, of course, just go to your Kepler dashboard and click on Regen staking or governance, and you'll find it. You'll find it in there. We've put all the details and everything, and along with like some of the input that we've gotten into there, so you can read all about it. If you've got any questions, of course, as I mentioned in the, if I can do this properly, right here, just go back to the forum and you can chime in there. We attempted to do a discussion, I believe, last week or the week before that, to kind of clarify some of the questions. I wasn't around, unfortunately, but it got cut kind of short, so we're gonna try to do it again and get everybody that needs to be involved in it, so everybody understands what's happening with that. So of course, this is just a signaling proposal. This isn't the actual upgrade itself, so there's still plenty of time to give your input and feedback on that. This was from the developers this morning. I saw in one of our Slack channels. So Cosmos SDK version 0.44 and 0.42 updates. SDK 042.10 and version 0.44.1 are released. Projects that are updating to 0.044 should not use the 0440, which contains some non-determinism issues. So developers should update directly to version 044.1. You can, unfortunately, I don't know too much about this portion of it, but you can go ahead and check it out in the GitHub under the release tags that I've posted here in those links. Moving right along. So this again is we've been talking about this. There's a Cosmos ecosystem token allocation that we've promised to the community. Basically a 3 million region allocated in the white paper for community via airdrop, work lock, that kind of a thing. 200,000 of which has already been distributed in our airdrop, which leaves us with about 2.8 million in that pool. So R&D Inc. will be moving these tokens to the community pool or another address controlled by the community. Basically, this is the community funds, and we want the community to control those. And we were aiming for end of September. It is now creeping up on end of September, so it looks like it'll be pushed out just a little bit. But I know there's already a discussion going with that, and I will reach out again, but I believe this will be happening very soon. So in the meantime, discussion leading to governance vote about those funds is welcome at that link in the forum there. And unfortunately, I am presenting, so it's hard for me to to give you guys those links there. All right, so also as mentioned in the first slide there, the community grants forum discussion is happening. 3 potential sources of grants. So R&D managed 1.2 million regen plus the staking rewards left over from incentivized testnet allocation. There's a community pool with 2 million plus accrued block rewards, and that's governed directly by you, Regen token holders. Regen Foundation yet to announce a program, but is likely to do so very soon. I don't think William is in here. Oh, Gregory's back. Did you want to go ahead and add something, Gregory, or do you want me to just keep going?
No, I think you're doing great.
Okay, cool. Yeah, no problem. So the Redwood, I mentioned this last time, the Redwood testnet's going to be relaunched because there were some discrepancies between the Genesis file between Redwood and the mainnet Genesis file, and we want to keep that as an ongoing public testnet, basically a stable version of Regen Ledger, and we want to keep it exactly how the mainnet is. So when we do perform upgrades and everything, we can really get some better data from that. So there was just a little bit of back and forth last week, but I just heard back from the Vitwit team, and we're going to go ahead and release that Genesis file. So I do notice there's a couple of validators on there. I'll be reaching out to those directly, so there won't be any kind of setback on that. Of course, you can there. Oh, as I was mentioning, so we're going to try to perform the Regen Ledger v2.0 upgrade on that testnet first, after the signaling proposal has passed, as kind of a dress rehearsal. So more details on v2.0 upgrade will be published pretty soon. I just had a meeting recently with Ryan, who's on this call. Thank you for joining. And we're just getting the docs ready for that. So you'll be able to view those at docs.regen.network. And of course, the GitHub for the Redwood testnet is posted right there, along with a faucet. So I would give it about a day for those that are on the call right now that are interested in joining that testnet. Give it about a day, because if you do join, you're just going to have to do it all over again. So market data. So we've got some market data here from our different pools that we're now part of. Osmosis liquidities sitting at around 27.1 million. Gravity Dex liquidity is sitting at 9.3 million. Those are the Atom Regen pairs on Gravity Dex and Atom Regen and Osmo Regen pairs on Osmosis. We're really excited. We've got Sift Chain Dex. We've got a trading pair there. It's the Rowan. I'm still trying to become familiar with that word. And Regen trading pair at almost 2.8 million. So the according to Osmosis, I was actually having a hard time finding the volume on Gravity Dex, the 24L volume. If somebody knows how to find that, maybe you can shoot me a message on Discord and I can get that. But it's 284,000 for the trading volume according to Osmosis. And yeah, so again, really exciting stuff with this network governance and upgrade coming soon regarding Ledger 2.0. I believe the internal audits are ongoing, and as I mentioned, there will be a testnet cycle coming up. The signaling proposal has been up for about 2 days, so that gives us another 12 days. You can expect a testnet to start no later than 3 weeks. I'll start making announcements very soon. Well, of course, the testnet will be started. I want to reiterate that, but we'll get people onboarded, and anybody who's interested in wanting to actually perform the upgrade on the testnet, that'll be happening just shortly after audits and everything in the signaling proposal passes. So of course the feature set is the eco credits on mainnet. Woohoo! I know everybody's excited about it. The product team is really excited about it. There's been a lot of buzz happening, lots of meetings, lots of cool stuff in the works with that. So I'm actually really excited for that as well. Governance, allow list credit class creation, credit types on chain, and the really fantastic auth-z and fee grant modules on the SDK there will be happening too. So again, go ahead and go to the forum if you'd like to read all about it. There's been some fantastic conversation going on there. It's blowing the forum away. So if you want to learn all about it, that's a really good place to start. And of course, public Notion roadmap, which we need to try to get better at updating, is located at that link there. Of course, this slideshow is available to the public too. So since I haven't been able to post the links, you guys can go ahead and find them in this slideshow, and which will give you information about our progress. So yep, there's the link to our Google Calendar. If anybody needs that link, I haven't been very good at posting it. I know there's a lot of new people in the community, so I'll try to be better at posting that Google Calendar link too, so nobody misses out on anything there. So of course, the community call happens every 2 weeks, and our next call will be in 2 weeks from today on October 13th, 2021. And yeah, so let's go ahead and I'll end it there. I'll stop sharing my screen. And I did go over the half hour. I always think I'm not going to be able to talk for that long, but it looks like we're at 43 minutes. So if anybody has any questions, right now would be definitely the time to ask those.
Not all at once.
You don't have to raise your hand. Just go ahead and speak up.
You can also chat stuff.
Yeah, totally.
If you want.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe Gregory, if you want to have some input on some of the stuff that we talked
looks
about.
like someone's coming off mute here. So
yeah, I got a question there.
Cool.
Sorry not to turn on the camera since I'm driving. I can talk, but like taking a look at the phone to turn it on, it's like not a good idea. Which is more or less the planning to make the changes on mainnet that are going to be released and pre-tested there on the testnet before a couple of weeks or so, or?
Yeah, so the signaling proposal, of course, it's just like any other vote. So it's gonna take 2 weeks for that to pass. So it'll be at very minimum 2 weeks from today. But so as soon as the signaling proposal passes, I'm gonna start putting out communication to everybody so we can get validators onto the testnet. So as Ivan was mentioning, do you need more validators to join? That kind of ties into your question. So yeah, at that point,
Okay.
so in about 2 weeks, I'll start putting out communications and make sure you guys know how to join that testnet. And yeah, we'll go from there. So definitely want that to happen before we actually go live on mainnet. So we want to perform the upgrade on the testnet. And yeah, thank you, Paul, for saying you will join.
And yet now a question, considering the huge leap forwards that are going to be made with this new release, what are your plans there to communicate inside of a community and outside of it, what these changes mean? I mean, they're huge. And what are your communications plans there?
Yeah, absolutely. So I know that so there is, I believe, a blog post coming out. Maybe Ryan can speak to that a little bit, but I would definitely go to that forum post that I mentioned. There is so much information there. I've already been learning a ton just from that. But yeah, we'll be releasing I believe a blog post. I'm not 100% sure on that, but I think so. Maybe, yeah, I believe Ryan is working on that. Is that correct?
There'll be a blog post. Yeah, go ahead, Ryan.
I was just going to say, yeah, the blog post would be mostly focused on the eco credit module and introducing what that entails in terms of feature set and everything. And it will have some information about the upgrade, but the focus is currently on the eco-credit module. I think the communication mostly will happen through the forum as well as in the Discord. And I think that's the best place to keep an eye out for updates.
Yeah, and we'll also, of course, tweet. I think there'll be some tweet threads that basically take the blog and the other docs and just, you know, break them into digestible pieces and get them out through that medium. We are going to be pretty intentional. There's an intentional decision on the comms and network ops teams at Regen that we didn't really want to hype it too much. We want everybody to be well informed, and we want everybody in the community to know what the functionality is, and we want to start building and leveraging the functionality. But we also we sort of like don't want to create a big hype cycle and sort of like, you know, so we're going to be focused on quality information to the stakeholders that need it through the various mediums that we have available. So the forum, Discord, Telegram, Twitter, and then sort of blogs and our GitHub documentation. So that's sort of the focus of the comms strategy. I think we'll get more hypey as we go, you know, maybe more towards Regen Ledger 3.0 and other pieces, because there's still some work to do to get the functionality that really unlocks community's ability to engage with a decentralized registry system and with sort of providing eco credit. So there's a few pieces we're working on there. So, you know, we want everybody who needs to know to have all, or wants to know to have all the information they need, but we're trying to avoid this sort of like needless hype cycle style of communication. Yeah. Great question. Corey, you came off mute. Would you like to share anything?
I actually don't. I feel like I had something on the tip of my tongue and then I forgot what it was and forgot that I was still off mute.
Cool. Darren, this is your first time on this call, right? Would you like to say hello? Did we introduce you 2 weeks ago, or?
Nope. Yeah. I'd like to say hello.
Awesome.
Everyone. This is my first community call in quite a while, but it's great to be here. I'm helping out, like joining the product team at Regen Network. So yeah, I hope it's been really interesting, like reading the community forums and seeing the discussions that are happening. And I just want to encourage people to continue providing that feedback, and feel free to reach out to myself and the team members on Discord and Telegram and what have you. I think we're looking forward to Regen Ledger 2.0, and I think we certainly realize that there's a lot more that we want to build, but we definitely want to be co-developing that vision with, you know, our greater community. So yeah, looking forward to it.
Awesome. Thanks, Darren. Let's see. I mean, I could give a brief little update. Last week, I was in New York City, sort of around the Mainnet 2021 conference, and I gave a presentation with the blockchain infrastructure carbon working group, which is focused on reducing carbon emissions across the blockchain industry, and then what can't be reduced offsetting through natural climate solutions, and sort of setting up industry standards and both accounting and offsetting standards. And so Regen's really been helping lead that working group for yeah, I mean, it sort of stemmed, it's almost a year now that we've been working very closely with a few of the members. F2 Pool is really one of the main members, as well as KlimaDAO and Creole, Offsetra, RIN, BTC, a set of different NFT actors. So it's a pretty interesting kind of collaboration. And we all got together for the first time in person, those of us who've been on that working group, and we did presentations to each other about the sort of different roles and pipelines and approaches. And one of the big things that we've all been working towards together in that group is actually being able to do green, like offset Bitcoin to serve as a collateral form in DeFi. So you can actually take REN BTC or a wrapped Bitcoin and offset it and track that. And so have a carbon offset Bitcoin as a sort of green monetary instrument that can be used in ESG funds, or again, as collateral in DeFi, or just, as a medium of transaction. And so that's what the working group's kind of been focused on for the last little bit. And it's really great. It's kind of coming together really swiftly. And so there's going to be a lot of exciting work taking place there. And launches and deployments in the future, but it was fun. So that's what I was mostly in the city, to like hang out with that working group, and some other. I hung out with the Cello team, and they're building optics bridges. They're very excited to be working with Regen in the future to be sort of pulling natural capital, carbon to start and other things in the future into their treasury to do a natural capital backed stablecoin. That's another very interesting channel for us in the future. And some conversations Darren and I were having in the city. Darren got to come too, so it's fun. And so just a little bit of a update there from sort of the broader community. The last thing I'd sort of share on that end is, I don't know if folks were watching, but recently the KlimaDAO launched, and they had a $18 million LBP fundraiser. And all of that is going to build a treasury of retired carbon credits that's going to back, the retired carbon credits are actually backing their sort of decentralized reserve currency. So this is sort of like a proto global carbon reward, a la Kim Stanley Robinson, Dr. Chin, and we've been a long time fans and sort of been working closely with the KlimaDAO folks, that community. I mean, Paul, who's on, and Will, you guys might remember the folks who launched KlimaDAO. They were in the Open Earth hackathons back in the day, the collabathons. So there's been sort of a long relationship with the people who launched that, and they're very excited also around sort of a community-owned carbon accounting and asset minting system like we're building here at Regen Network, sort of for supply, for really making sure that there's quality land steward and scientist sort of ownership of infrastructure in the process. So anyway, lots of really exciting intersections, and a lot of that was really alive while I was down in New York. So it felt like kind of a, we're at a watershed moment right now for the last little bit of this year, where everything's kind of coming together. So lots of exciting news. Great. Any, I'm just going to check the chat. Any other questions or comments? Yeah, Paul, it's totally overwhelming. It's pretty crazy. I mean, I really have the sense that, there's going to be a big crypto sort of blockchain enabled carbon and climate finance wave, which I think is just sort of like building, and it's about to start breaking. And, I think we're in good position to surf that. I think that also begs a lot of questions about the hazards associated with markets and speculation. There's been a lot of healthy conversation about that on our forums. And just like, what does it look, what is it, how do we as a community at Regen, who are really trying to do a larger reinvention of the economic system and re-engagement with ecological health, we do have to succeed and service this existing market and we need to transform it and move through it. And so anyway, it's on my mind a lot about how to sort of like balance the present moment success and sort of like meeting this moment and doing it well, serving the market where it's at, which is like wanting to take climate action and kind of naive about that and like helping support that happen in the most meaningful way we can, while also providing a pathway beyond how the market currently works to sort of realign incentives in a deeper way. So I think that's on all of our mind a lot at R&D Inc. I'm sure a lot of other people are thinking about that. I know, Robert and I were just chatting at length about that, and Patrick and I were going, and other people have been chatting about this in terms of speculative forces and market dynamics. So lots of interest. It's an interesting and great moment to be involved in all of this. So definitely, echo what Dan had mentioned, was just, and Darren as well, just an invitation to just engage. More than anything, we need engagement, feedback, conversation, dialogue, ideas. If people have ideas right now in this moment for functionality, for things that need to happen, if you're seeing something that's a gap that we're not seeing, or we've been too busy to attend to, bring it up. Because right now we're also, as was mentioned, we're going to be shifting into gear here to try to do a bunch of granting before the end of the year to really get things moving. So if you see a gap, or you want to roll your sleeves up and take a crack at fixing something, or bring in something to the community, don't be shy. Now is the moment, yeah. Yeah, so Yvonne from Blockscope is asking about project open to land stewards in Europe. Definitely. So you should chat with Rebecca, who's our land steward coordinator. We're open globally. We have some limitations about the type and cost effectiveness of methodologies to get an institutional credit to market. But we're also working really hard and have a whole program for what we're calling flex credits, where you can sort of define your own way of answering and crediting ecological action, and build a market around that isn't necessarily sort of operating at the level of an institutional grade credit that, the Microsofts or F2 pools of the world might want because of their sort of standards mindset, but could have a very active market for, within our larger community, where we can understand that, a more holistic approach and a more community driven approach. So there's like institutional grade and flex grade credits. The institutional grade, again, we're sort of like meeting and exceeding the standards that are set, for better or worse, with institutional carbon offsetting markets. And there's a whole conversation about whether that's good or bad, but it is the market. And then the flex community grade credits, we really get to engage and define our own criteria for what the credit means and how it's being verified and modeled. And so that there's a huge amount of opportunity there, and you can find out more about that in the resources section at the registry program. There's a section on the flex and community crediting, and Rebecca can also share a little bit more in detail about that, Yvonne, if you reach out to her. So yeah. Cool. Well, it looks like we're here at the top of the hour. Dan, do you have any last words?
No, I mean, yeah, we usually do this just like in our internal R&D, but I want to give gratitude to Darren. He's a fantastic community member, and like a coworker. It's been a real pleasure working with Darren so far, and I can see lots of great things coming out of that. So thank you, Darren, for joining the team.
Yeah,
thanks. Wow.
Excited to have you on board, Darren.
Awesome.
I also, while we're on the gratitude front, before everybody hops off, I want to give gratitude to Ryan, who really did a huge amount of the work to document and think through and socialize the governance, the signaling governance proposal, and wade through both the technical and implementation complexity of that. And, awesome work, Ryan.
Thanks, Gregory. Yeah, and thanks, Dan, for introducing gratitudes into this call. This is great.
All right. Thanks, everybody. Have a great couple weeks, and we'll see you on the forum or Discord or you know, wherever our paths cross in the digital world. Until next time.
Thank you
Bye.
so much today.